Hi guys. Good morning. How are you all doing today? I hope you've been having a good week so far. And do you guys have anything exciting planned for the weekend coming up? I am dog sitting a bunch of dogs this weekend. My mom's birthday is on Monday. It's also a holiday on Monday, so I'm sure some of you have some good plans. What are they? Let me know in the comments. Um, Today we're using The Universe Has Your Back Oracle by Gabrielle Bernstein. You are the dreamer of your own dreams. Again, it has this purple labradorite. I don't know if you can see hard to see the shine in that because the window's reflecting on it. Oh, there's some. There we go. See the purple and the over here. It's always so hard to get them to flash for you guys on the camera. 1 second. Sorry, I had to fix my chair. So yes, The Universe Has Your Back, Gabrielle Bernstein. I guess I don't have a lot of side stuff to say. My shuffling isn't working very well. Are any of you working on any new projects? I'm not. I have been suffering to feel inspired lately, but that's okay. Sometimes you have lulls, so I'm just trying to go with it. All right, let's see what the cards have for us today, because I apparently don't have a lot to say at this point. All right. I'm gonna have to jump down and get that one. We don't have a book for these, so I'm just gonna pull a few more. Oh, I'm gonna have to get that one too. All right, we got a bunch. Let me grab those and I'll be right back. All right. The first card that came out, actually, I don't know what the first card was that came out. I think this was the first one that came out. The rest of them were kind of just in random order, but it says, I choose love no matter what. That's a good reminder. I don't always choose love, no matter what. Sometimes I don't always lead with a loving heart about everything I do with people that I love and personal experiences, but it's a good reminder to try to come from a place of love when you're talking to people or maybe dealing with hard situations or uncomfortable situations. That, you know, if you start from a place of love, there's always going to be a better chance of finding understanding, I guess. So as you go throughout your day and things come up, maybe things that aren't always fun or positive, try to choose love and come from a loving point of view when you're dealing with those things. The next card says the presence of love will always cast out fear. And a lot of these cards speak of love. So the universe is asking us to maybe move out of a space of anger or spite or jealousy or resentment, and to focus on a feeling of love. And if there's something that you're worried or nervous about, or something that kind of scares you, that if you lean into love, it might help mute those feelings a little bit. The next card says, I recognize that I have chosen fear and I choose again. I choose love. So again, love will cast out the fear. A lot of times it's easier to, at least for me, I don't know about you or necessarily everyone else, but I have a lot easier time sometimes sinking into a negative feelings. I empathically take on negative feelings really easily, a lot more so than positive feelings. So sometimes it's that we have to recognize that we're choosing fear instead of faith. And it sounds like a lot of us maybe need to focus on love, just in general, being more loving. With being more loving comes patience, comes understanding. So it might not just be about love, but maybe about recognizing a lack of understanding or patience or sympathy, or just understanding in general of a situation. And if you can try to focus on those feelings instead of the fear, it might help to soften those feelings of anxiety that you might be having. The next card says, when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will be guided back to the light. So again, and maybe if you can't find a way of focusing on love in regard to maybe a stressful situation or an uncomfortable situation, or a maddening situation that the universe will guide you back to the light if you try to foster more positive feelings of love and understanding and acceptance, and accept that the universe is trying to teach you. And a lot of times when we are in a place of fear or anger or discomfort, it's really easy to sit in those feelings and block out positivity. And as we know, when you get into negative feelings and negative energy and sit in it, things tend to come to you that are negative and uncomfortable. So if you can't, that's what I was going to say, if you can't seem to find a feeling of love around the specific situation, then maybe you need to do the whole, instead of jumping from here to here, you got to jump to the side and find something else that you love or that brings you joy that you can focus on to try to raise your vibrations up, so that you can eventually hopefully get to a place of taking those positive emotions and that positive energy and applying it towards whatever situation it is that you're struggling with. And if you can come from a place of love, even if you have to get there through focusing on something else, the universe will bring you back to the light and maybe to a place where you can maybe work your way into finding some more positive energy and feelings to come at the situation with. The next card says, I find a deeper meaning in personal growth amid the discomfort. And I think, you know, one of my besties and I talk about this a lot, that a lot of growth does come from challenge. Most of us tend to learn hard lessons, you know, from difficult situations. And it would be nice to learn to get to a place where you can learn and gain deeper insight without the struggle. And maybe that comes from focusing more on love. And that if you can find a deeper meaning and personal growth through love, then maybe there will be less discomfort to teach you from. But it's a hard one because, you know, when you're going along and everything's great and things are working out for you, sometimes you don't stop and consider what you're learning because you're happy. I know for myself that when I'm in a negative situation or something's going on that is, you know, uncomfortable, I tend to look within to try to figure out how I can be better personally, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning from this situation. And I would really personally like to get to a place, and I imagine probably all of you would too, where we can have that same insight without having to suffer to get there. And that's, you know, that's something that I think can be learned and practiced. So if you are in the middle of an uncomfortable situation that's trying to teach you something, try to work your way towards feelings of love and then re-examine the situation. And then going forward, try to maybe also examine yourself when you are happy and when good things happen to you, because I think we can learn still from good things that are happening to us. I think we've been told for a long time that, you know, pressure makes diamonds, and, you know, you don't grow unless you're not succeeding, and that's how you grow and you learn from struggle and from mistakes. But why can't we also learn from happiness and positivity? And maybe the way to do that is to focus in, even in the good times, on what am I learning from this? How did my love or my positive energy influence the situation that I'm in? And how can I learn from that as well? The next card says, true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. Which kind of feels like what I was saying a little bit. I think a lot of us get to the feelings of being triggered. I don't love the word triggered. I think it's overused a lot, but a lot of us get to that feeling and that's where we get stuck and we can't see outside of that. And maybe we need to go a little bit deeper to figure out what feeling or what is causing the feelings that create those triggers, and try to address that instead so that you can actually heal from that. And try to get past the discomfort. Maybe if you address the feelings below the triggers, it will help you to maybe not be triggered so much in the future. If you can figure out exactly what it is and then address that and learn from that, and then find your way to a place of love, that hopefully going forward, those things won't ping you so much. The next card is, my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So here we're coming, I don't know if I showed you the last card, so I'm going to show it to you again just in case. But my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So a lot of times when we're triggered or we're growing amid discomfort, it's probably because we don't like the way something is working out. We feel like it's wrong. We feel like it's not going the way it's supposed to. We're putting a lot of pressure on how it should be or how it should go or how it should happen. And we're not trusting that things are working the way they should. And it's really easy to do that because it's hard when things aren't looking the way you think they should to see positivity in that. Talked about it before, how sometimes the things that are happening to us that in the moment seem horrible are actually the things that are pushing us towards what we actually need. And knowing that comes from a faith that everything is always working out for you the way that it's supposed to. And by trusting that God has a bigger plan and a bigger view of the plan than you do. And the universe knows where you want to be, and it knows you have a vision of how you're supposed to get there, but we don't always have the I don't know how to say it. We don't always understand that maybe the way we think we need to get there isn't the actual way to get there. And so that's when you really have to trust that the powers that be know more than you do, that God knows more than you do, and he's really trying to set you up for success. You just might not see it in the same way, so you just gotta trust. You just gotta trust and have faith. The next card is the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. So this is saying something similar, except that this is more talking about surrendering the outcome, not just how you're going to get there or how you think you should get there, but where it is that you think you need to get to. Because a lot of times, in the same way that we think we know the best path to get there, we also think we know what the best outcome is. And sometimes we can't see that maybe the outcome that we're looking for doesn't actually serve our highest good. There's a better outcome. Maybe something that we can't think of or that we're not aware of that the universe is. So if you're struggling with, being in an uncomfortable position as you're trying to get somewhere or accomplish something, there's got to be a certain amount of release on the how you get there and the release on what exactly it is that the outcome should be. Maybe instead of focusing on a specific outcome, you focus on the outcome being what is best for you. So it's kind of like when you say, I hope someone gets what they deserve. You don't always know what the deserve is, whether that's good or bad, but you want it to be better than you even imagined. I was telling my friends yesterday that I don't always wish for great, grand things. I always tend to just hope for enough. And I tend to have a smaller view of not only like what is possible, but maybe what I deserve. And so sometimes I can't think big enough. I don't think grand enough. And the universe might have a much bigger and better plan and a much bigger and better outcome planned than I can even imagine. And so if we get in our own way sometimes of having expectations, and sometimes we just have to let go and let God. So going through the end of this week and into this weekend, if there's a situation that you're struggling with and this comes up in your mind, do your best to search for the energy of love. Use a separate situation, do something you like, do something that brings you joy, to get yourself towards that energy. And then once you get in that energy of positivity and love, start to apply that towards the situation and see if it helps you release maybe some fears you have or anxiety you have around it. Maybe it'll help you reach a resolve in a way that you hadn't thought of before. And then really focus in on what it is that below the feelings of this always happens to me, or this has happened to me before, or this is what happened to me when it was like this before. Address those feelings underneath that trigger and then move forward from there. And do that by trusting that you don't always know the best way to do things and you don't always know what the best outcome is. And put your faith in whatever higher power that you believe in to work out those details for you if you can't do it yourself. Your job is to get into a place of good energy and try to move from there. And in the meantime, you can surrender the outcome and let the powers that be work on that. You focus on you. You focus on your positivity and living in your bliss and doing things that bring you joy and bliss. And once you get into that space, then attack or focus on or put that energy and you know, positive feeling into whatever it is that you're struggling with. And maybe you'll just see something you didn't see before. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for today. I hope that resonated with you. If it does, go ahead and like it. And if you know anybody who's struggling, who might understand anything that I said just now, even if maybe I don't always understand it, share it with them. And go and have a great, loving day. Sending love to you all.